Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by award-winning director Brian Redondo and Savon Jones, aka Captain Bonnie. This is episode 127, and we talk about what we're loving this week. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back to Confidently Wrong. It's good to see you guys. Hi, Sav.
Hey.
Hi, Brian.
Hola.
We're all here for our next episode. Friends, thanks so much for listening. We're going to do a What We're Loving. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. How's it go? It's like a coin dropping.
Just like that. Exactly what you did.
I don't even need to put the drop in. That was exactly what Duriel, sent us. This episode is kind of in between. We're still waiting for Ahsoka to finish, where we can do a recap episode, and then Loki is coming on the horizon, so we'll be able to talk about those on our next show, I believe. So we're gonna talk a little bit about what we're loving to bring the people what they should be enjoying in their lives.
What we're loving.
Friends, mine is the dumbest one, so I get to go first. So if you don't like
that is the
dumb
order.
what
this
we're
is
loving,
ascending order of intelligence that we're going by.
If you don't like the dumbest ones or the dumbest what we're loving, go ahead and just skip forward 6 or 7 minutes, and you'll be on the real what we're lovings. All right, gentlemen, I have a what we're loving that you're gonna roll your eyes big time on, more than usual, I think. So my what we're loving this week is my e-bike.
That's it.
That's it.
Is that
It's
it?
the e-bike.
What is an e-bike?
An e-bike?
Yeah.
Is it like a digital bike? Is it like it
Grand
only
Theft
exists on
Auto?
your phone?
It has a digital screen on it. No, okay, so I bought an e-bike, electric bike. It's battery powered, or battery assisted. It's got a motor in it, which I don't know if people
out,
know.
Wes.
I like to ride. I know. I like to ride a road bike, which is just a regular nice carbon fiber speed machine. Although I should be faster if it's really a speed machine. It's just kind of a medium machine when I'm riding it. But the e-bike we bought, there was a big sale a couple weeks ago. I was able to obtain to buy. Jen okayed the purchase of a.
You should do that with all your purchases, or is there like a money threshold?
You have to do an expense report
Yeah.
at work.
Anything over 100, we talk about.
Who
first.
said you could have lunch at In-N-Out?
Anything over
Jen,
100,
maybe
we have to
no.
talk about. Well, we got a budget. We got to fit within the budget on the eating out. She doesn't actually have to okay purchases. We just
Do
talk
you
about it.
okay her?
No,
purchases?
you don't got to backpedal on that, bro.
Yeah, she'll ask me like, "Hey, my so and so, their parents passed away. I'd like to send them money for the funeral, blah blah, whatever." Like,
What?
For
like,
funeral,
yeah,
that's what you're trying to get. Okay.
You get
Send it.
my thoughts and prayers, and I'm atheist. That's what you get. Maybe a note, maybe a letter. Money?
Yeah, people
Send me money when I'm send me money when I'm
yeah,
alive.
not
Don't send my
receive money.
family money when I die. Okay? If anybody wants to send me some money, do it while I'm still alive to spend it. Do not give it to my family after I have passed. At that point, that horse has left the barn and the barn has burned down.
It's also like you're putting a dollar value on the person that died.
or on
That's
their
not
grief.
true. Not true.
Here's $5.
Don't spend it all at one place.
Oh my god.
Ooh, y'all.
I mean, people send flowers.
Yeah, but at least
to
that's
funerals.
symbolic. Money has a very clear, written on
Money's
it
also
Money
value.
is just
symbolic.
value.
Money is not symbolic. Money is very cut and dry. Flowers
Oh
don't have
my
a price
God.
point attached that you're going to see. If I send you $5, that's not like $5 in actuality, $10 in spirit. Ooh, sorry. We sidetracked your thing. Continue.
I want that in the next big Supermax NBA contract. 200 million.
This is a 20. Yeah, it's a $20 million
500 in
contract.
spirit. That's what you're getting.
All right, so I got I got an REI branded e-bike. It's not name brand. It's not like Specialized or Trek or one of those Giant or Cannondale. It's made by REI, but it's actually pretty good. It was like recommended by a bunch of different websites as one to check out. It's very affordable, but e-bikes are still expensive. I mean, they're usually running at least $1,000 for a bike, which like as a commuter bike, you're like, why am I getting $1,000, $2,000? Some bikes are like $7,000 for commuter bikes, and it's just like for the convenience of having that extra pedal power as you're going. But I've always really liked this idea of, well, if I could replace some of my car trips with bike trips, A, there's a little bit more fitness involved, and B, you're just using less cars. You're not contributing to traffic. You're sort of just doing a little bit better by the environment, in terms of like not outputting a bunch of greenhouse gases. And so that's sort of been my fun. The things that I've been doing on this e-bike, I haven't been like doing cool jumps or, doing cool GoPro videos like an action superstar. I've been using it to commute sometimes. So like I'll take Kaya, I strap the trailer to the back of the bike, and I take her to daycare in the mornings before it gets super hot. Although in Texas, in the morning, it's still fucking hot.
That poor child.
Right? Kaya just in the back, man, this is some bullshit if I ever seen it.
Yeah. This ain't got no air conditioning.
No AC, no music. Do you even have a speaker for her to listen to some?
Oh, yeah. I bring the
Black
Bluetooth
Sheep
speaker and we
something?
jam out. No, I just listen to regular music that I want to listen
Thank
to.
God.
So she's getting exposed to Motown. She's getting exposed to like 90s and 2000s era
Eminem.
hip hop. She gets some pop music. She gets some Ed Sheeran for sure. Yeah, she gets some Eminem, definitely some 50 Cent, but sometimes I got to skip the 50 Cent. Anyways, she holds on to the Bluetooth speaker in the trailer. She's got her little water bottle, keeping her cool. I don't bike in the afternoon because it gets like 95 to 100 here, sometimes a little over 100. So that's too hot. I don't want her in the bike trailer for that long. I was surprised though. I thought if I got an e-bike, like this trip would be a breeze because it's like a 5-mile trip. One way, so 10 miles trip round or 10 miles round trip. I thought with the e-bike motor, it would be like easy. It's not easy. My heart rate is still up at like 130 to 140 on most of the trips. Sometimes it comes down a little bit, but it's kind of elevated. It's like actually like I'm doing some work here. You gotta actually be pedaling for the bike to kick in. It's not a little like moped. You can't just like throttle it up and be like. Bzzz.
What is the point of this thing?
Sounds like it's the
okay,
worst
so
of both
as a comparison
worlds.
point,
You
No.
gotta pedal to get any.
Yeah, you
Just
gotta
get a
pedal.
motorcycle.
yeah, no, that's still I guess you could get like an electronic bike that like has a throttle on it, but that's more expensive. Anyways, and I like the fact that like it still makes you do some work, so you're still getting some some exercise benefits out of it. We just talked about it off the air that I'm I'm kind of slothy. I'm kind of sedentary right now, so it's good to get me out there and elevate the heart rate a little bit. But I will say, okay, so the pedal assist works to about 20 miles an hour. So for most of the trip, I'm actually doing like between 15 and 20 miles an hour, depending on how hilly or uphill it is. That's pretty fast. So on Thursday, I biked with Kaya and I took my regular bike in the trailer. Holy shit, that was so hard. Not so hard. It was just way harder. My heart rate was at like 170 the whole time. And I was drenched in sweat by the time I got there, and I was dying by the time I got home. And we were only going maybe 11 miles per hour that whole trip. So as a comparison point, I was like, oh, the e-bike is actually doing quite a bit to get us there faster, to get me there less sweaty, and working. And I'm saving the environment. I'm not producing a bunch of carbon dioxide for the air for all of the Austinites to breathe in, and to not raise global temperatures
I'm
any
gonna breathe
higher.
extra hard
So-
just for you.
So I feel good about it. So everybody go buy an e-bike. It's great. It's very heavy though. It's like 55 pounds or something. Just the bike.
How much is your
And my
normal bike
road-
weigh?
My road bike. Well, my road bike is not a normal bike, but it's light. It's like 17 or 18 pounds. Like you can lift that shit one-handed, no problem.
And so when you drop off Kaya and then you
Yeah.
bike back home, are you also biking back to pick her up and then biking back? So this is like a
If-
double, like actually
Okay,
like
so
4
if the
rides?
temperatures, no, but if the temperatures were better, I would consider it. as just a way to like try and eliminate car trips as much as possible. But because in the afternoons it's actually like 98 degrees, like I'm not out trying to be out there in 98-degree weather on a bike for an hour. Like it's just not. No. The answer is no, but maybe one day. The problem for me right now is this isn't feasible if I was working. I can only do this right now because I'm on parental leave with Eliza. If I was working, the trip there and the trip to school and then the trip home would probably just be too far, like too much time on the road and not enough time like actually being home. So I got to figure
Just keep having
that
kids,
part out
and
a
then
little
you
bit
can keep going on parental leave, and then you'll just get to ride your bike forever. Sounds like you've gamed the system.
Problem solved.
Checkmate.
Solved.
You're gonna save the planet at that rate.
Hey, I'm doing my part to save the planet.
Are you?
Are you?
Is this
yes,
helping, Wes?
That 5 miles less that I'm driving.
Oh my goodness.
That is going to save the world. It's going to reduce climate temperatures by 0.0000004 degrees Celsius over the next year. I think it's definitely doable.
The future generations of Nakamura's really thank you.
Okay, here's one more thing that I'm doing to help the environment. Austin Energy has this dumb program, which I like, but it's dumb, that I signed up for. They charge you a little bit extra on your bill, your electricity bill. And what they say is they're going to promise to buy that amount of wind energy, like for the grid. So you're guaranteeing that, like, let's say you use, whatever, I don't know how they measure it, kilowatt hours or something. Let's say you bought, you used 60 kilowatt hours in a month. I don't know if that's an actual number. They will then purchase that 60 kilowatt hours amount from the wind farm so that the amount of, electricity in the Austin energy grid goes up by that amount in terms of renewable energy. So you just have to pay like an extra, like $12 a month or something like that based on how much we use. So again, I lowered the global climate change, amount by 0.000000006%. So you're welcome. I am making sure that your future, siblings, nieces, nephews, children will have a better world to inherit. So I'm doing you a service. I expect a thank you card in the mail. Go ahead and send
smoke
that.
a cigarette
Dear
outside
world.
just to counter what you've done. I'm gonna take a night drive and just drive around the block a few times. Just go sightseeing.
No. Hey, man, you could try to do that as much as you want, but our Earth's savior has arrived.
Captain Planet over here.
I'm here.
He has solved our entire crisis. It is over.
The hero we need, not the one we deserve.
I'm good, actually.
Brian, you ride public transportation a lot when you're out and about, so you are also doing your part to reduce, emissions for the world.
Trust me, man, none of us are doing anything to solve
I live in the Motor City.
Unless the corporations and giant governments act.
Okay, George Lopez, Uncle Rudy.
This is effed.
But he was right.
Our tiny little contribution to climate change is
yeah,
not,
it's not. I mean,
not
individual
very
stuff
significant
helps.
here.
Yeah, but it really has to be bigger stuff. Savon, what are you loving this week?
That's a good question. What is the kid loving? I know what I'm loving. Cyberpunk 2077.
Man, you haven't been on Apex very much at all because you've been playing.
We got an
so
Apex
much.
dub last night though. We got us a little quick Apex win.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Got a little ranked win, just doing the thing. You know what I mean? It's just how we do.
Well, you've been putting in that time.
Oh yeah, I've been on that Cyberpunk hard.
App.
So people here know Cyberpunk came out probably like 3 years ago at this point. 2-3 years
it was
ago.
a very iffy launch.
And we talked about it on this podcast.
Yeah, we talked about it years ago. So I talked about how when
Redemption
Cyberpunk,
arc.
yeah, and I talked
Let's
about
go.
how when Cyberpunk came out, the game had it was the foundations of a great game. The visuals, the dialogue, the storytelling, a lot. The
Keanu Reeves,
the game, like the game did so many things right, but it was clear that the game just lacked polish, and I had some narrative issues with the game because I don't want to get into big spoiler territory, but the game had like 7 or 8 endings that all were deeply unsatisfying. And I think most people who played the game felt that way. So Cyberpunk, they released an update that was not the DLC, but an update called Cyberpunk 2.0 that came out about a week ago. And it was basically a rehauling of most of the game's systems. They updated the police system, the driving system, just attention to detail, like cars can now have pop tires, some visual updates, AI, and how the characters.
Why would that be a thing that they wanted? Was pop tires?
What you mean?
I mean, it's the future. Like, can't tires just not pop in the future?
Why do they have tires in the future?
Yeah.
The-
Shouldn't they just be hover cars at that
I mean,
point?
they have hover stuff, but the point of Cyberpunk, the aesthetic, is that not everybody can afford all the advanced tech. Point is the game. My point is that the game just added a level of polish and realism that wasn't there. Same way in any game, pretty much. I think a good
Wait, so you're saying this game just like recreated the present day like wealth inequality in the future?
No, the game always
like,
had that.
Play the game.
No, the game always
this is
had
real life.
the game. No, god damn it, no. The game always had that. But point is, they really just tightened up and polished the game in ways that it was not before. And I think the lack of tires being able to pop when getting shot was a testament to the game not having that attention to detail, and it's clear they just didn't have time to work on it, right? And so, like, even before, they had the police system was mediocre. There weren't police that just roamed the streets. They didn't have it was just the game just wasn't very polished and fleshed out. They redid even how cars drive, the handles, added more vehicles, but things like that. The biggest change is that they redid the entire game's perk skill tree system. So in the game before, you had 5 attributes that then had skill trees within them that you use to RPG rank up your character. Before, they were based more on just like numerical changes. So you get an update, but the upgrade is more of like a 0% change of damage on blah, 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 which just isn't very fun in terms of gameplay. The way it works now is that there's a lot more actual abilities and perks. So you can upgrade a skill that actually gives you new things to apply in your gameplay. So for a certain, like the reflex skill tree, you can do more dashes and air dashes rather than just slightly more melee damage or something. So now when you're building out your character, because at first I felt like I was just my character got stronger by just like a math formula. Now my character is stronger because I actually have unique abilities that I can apply to different combat situations. And so the gameplay has had a huge step up. And so, for example,
are you saying it's more like the Spider-Man, the original not original, but the like 2018 Spider-Man game where you got like new gadgets or new like
unlocking moves
mechanics
and abilities?
Yeah, it's
like that?
it's more of that. I mean, granted, it's more RPG, so like not as streamlined, but yes.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, my character used to be a hacking character, and when they revamped the game, they changed so many mechanics that like they actually my character got reset. All of my attribute points got refunded to me because they said a bunch of the skills you had before we have taken out of the game because we're just revamping how this entire thing works now. Like even the crafting. So at first you had to put skills into a certain tree to craft weapons. Now it's a universal ability. Things that really just shifts the entire paradigm of how you play the game. And what it's led to is just a really, really fun, dynamic game. And so to the point where Tyler and I were both playing, we have made completely opposite characters. And when we screen share and watch the other play, it's like watching Wes. I think you probably saw a little bit yourself. It's like watching 2 different games. Tyler's character dashes around, has stamina. Tyler doesn't use guns, so he's just dashing around through the air with mantis blades coming out of his arms and a ninja sword and katana and slashing and executing people. And my character,
it's like Wesley Snipes' Blade, Brian.
Yeah, it's like Blade.
That's all he's doing.
It's like Blade meets Shang-Chi meets Raiden from Metal Gear Solid. It's just really...
Ooh, I'd watch that movie.
Yeah, like badass, right? And then my character...
He does these cool like jumps through the air and then will like in the air like jump sideways. It's like it's pretty nuts to watch him play.
Yeah, and he's flying all over.
He throws his samurai sword at people's heads.
Yeah, he throws throwing knives at people, and he's doing all that stuff and going in slow motion. And then my character is the opposite, where I'm a dude who can't do all of that, but I can look at an enemy and hack them. And that means I can make them go blind, make their legs not work, make their gun explode, lure them to a different spot, make their cybernetic implants malfunction, all of that. And then I'm using all kinds of techno weapons that can highlight enemies, shoot through walls, all of this. And, you know, I'm hacking cameras to be able to recon a building, identify where everybody is, and then hack through the camera to start debuffing and killing people while I'm still outside the building. While Tyler's style of play is just to run through and slash everybody up John Wick style or, you know, action movie style. And we're both doing the same missions, but the application, and, you know, and that's just 2 builds that we have. There's a million other ways you can build your character.
Why does it make sense to me that Savon plays the game like, oh, you have rules to this game? Fuck your rules. I'm going to make sure that none of these rules make sense, and I'm going to undo all the abilities of all the other characters in the game. Why does that, like, totally on brand for you and how you play games?
Because I always like doing, like, the hacker debuff, big picture chess master type stuff.
I could actually imagine you in like 1,000 years in the future functioning as this hacker person.
Yeah, bro, that's dope.
I refuse to play by your rules.
Yeah, like I mean, there was a fight yesterday where Kendall was there. We watched Tyler fight this cyber ninja who basically was like a boss fight that was basically a copy of his character in terms of their fighting style, and they're having like a in slow motion samurai ninja fight. And Tyler just asked, "How did you even do this fight?" I said, "Well, I hid and hacked his cyber stuff so he couldn't do his ninja shit, and then I shot him." Now it was still a hard, it was still a hard boss fight, but how we went about it could not have been more differently, right? And so the point I'm getting at is that them revamping all of this means that the gameplay is just so rewarding, so fun. You can walk down the street and get into a fight, and you just using your character is immensely satisfying. And again, that's just 2 builds. I'm excited to replay the game solely to just take advantage of, oh, hey, what's all the cool abilities that they've added? So that's the 2.0 update, right? And so the game just got really rehauled and cleaned up. And then there's the actual Phantom Liberty update, which is a DLC story that you pay for. The 2.0 update is free. The DLC adds a new area and then its own separate storyline that is supposed to actually open up a new ending that I don't know what the ending is, but supposedly it's supposed to be a different one that's better than the really, I think, poorly received endings in the base game. And so in this storyline, I won't spoil too much, but Idris Elba lends his voice and likeness as a character, and it's basically a techno spy thriller. So there's lots of like, it feels like almost a Jason Bourne, Ocean's 11 meets almost some John Wick energy, but it is awesome because, again, the dialogue and acting was always great in this game, but now you just have a polished, finished game with that attention to detail that makes it go from good to great. And they just needed more time to work on it. And so playing the gameplay, the new things they've added,
and the world
weapons,
is very like Blade Runner-y.
Yeah, it's very Blade Runner. And then, the variety of environments. I mean, this is just stuff about the base game I enjoyed, right? Some places are super rich cyber tech future places where everyone looks all chromed out and golden and beautiful. And other places look like the slums and it doesn't even look like it's 2077. This could pass off as just a really
I love the
dilapidated modern neighborhood, right? Where people can't afford stuff and there's just poverty. So the game still does its good things in the base game well, but now you just have a game that has been polished, finished, and given that attention to detail that the base game, when it first launched, did not get. And so I've been sucked back in. I'm having a blast. I'm excited to replay through the game with the new overhauled, updated mechanics. And as Wes can see, like it has successfully pulled me away from Apex hard enough to where I'm like, oh, I'm just running Cyberpunk tonight. Sorry, y'all. No multiplayer.
I love the idea that a vehicle for Keanu Reeves that was bad was made better by adding Idris Elba. Could we do that with Matrix Revolutions? Can we just have Idris Elba be Neo?
Well, the thing is, Idris Elba's character isn't forced into your character's head and hijacks your game from a narrative standpoint. The biggest thing is that Keanu Reeves' character is literally trapped in your head and killing you. Ooh. So he's always there the whole game, just giving his commentary. Even Tyler was watching like, yo, Keanu's just always here. I'm like, yeah, just always here, saying some shit.
Too much Keanu.
Can we have Idris Elba in the lake house? Sandra Bullock.
But overall, great game. Cyberpunk is really fun. The 2.0 update is free. It makes the game amazing. I highly recommend that people who are into it, who are on the fence, it is a must-buy. The DLC is amazing.
Must-buy.
I think so.
Interesting. Yeah. So actually, I was going to ask, taken all together now, the new Cyberpunk, everything, what rating would you give to that game and IP and whatever?
I'll give it a solid 9. The base game already had a lot of foundational stuff done right. They just clearly didn't have time to actually polish the game. And the changes that they've made have done nothing but improve the game exponentially, in my opinion. So, this is already a game that I say is like pretty much most people said, oh, I'm just going to wait. Like Tyler and Mike both said, I'm going to wait until they just fix the game and then I'll play it. And they fixed the game and now they're both playing it and they're loving it.
All right. So would Brian like it and would Wesley like it? I think I have an answer for me.
It is a fun, narrative, story-driven RPG action game that has fun RPG elements. it's an action story mode single player game. You know, like if you want to just play a single player game that has a narrative and a story, it's open world, but you can still just do the missions that the game is giving you and just advance through the story. You'll have a good time. It's a long game, so there's a lot of content, so it's gonna take, it'll keep you occupied, but it is a fun game. Y'all would enjoy it. I think you would enjoy just building out your cyberpunk character. That's probably the most rewarding part of the game, is that whatever your cyberpunk fantasy, what you want your dude to be is, I promise you can make it happen. If Tyler can make his cyber ninja and I can make my techno super hacker, you can make whatever the hell you want.
I feel like I would not enjoy this game as much, or I'm like not as interested in this game, because I think there's so much customization that you're doing from the get-go, and like you have to make a choice in the beginning about like which skill trees you want to like really invest in before you
would get stuck at that part of the game. Just
before
like,
you really really
choice.
know what you're actually having to accomplish. That's a hard choice for my brain to make, because I'm like, well, how do I know what like quote unquote the best is, or the one I want to choose, when I don't know what I'm actually going to encounter in the future? And obviously you trust the game is like going to let you do whatever and still be able to progress, but for me, I want to do the one that, because I'm probably not going to play it more than once. I'm like, I want to do the one that's going to work the best for me, and I don't know which one's going to work best for me.
I think there is no best. It's just a matter of taste. So you just have to ask yourself, if you were in a cyberpunk world, would you want to be a hacker? Or if you just like the aesthetic and vibe of doing hacker stuff, that is an option. You can lean into it, and it's not like you're going to gatekeep yourself from content or make the game harder for yourself. The game is challenging in different ways for different builds. Like for stealth missions, Tyler can blow through it, but for some of the missions with a lot of people and me being able to scan the building, it's also easier. There's no right or wrong. So you shouldn't feel like, oh my goodness, I have decision paralysis on what I want my character to be, because you have so many directions to go.
Have
and
you
flexibility.
Met me? Decision paralysis is like the only thing I have.
And the game, you still have to
just ask Jen. You also still
have to level up your character to like do things of note. So it's not like you're flooded with 1,000,000 points and you get locked into something early on. You can look at the trees and just read the base ability. Like it's drip fed to you. The best abilities you don't get until you invest more into a tree. So you have time to figure out what you do and don't like. And the game has the option for you to just refund your points and respec your character. So if you're really just like, I want to do something totally differently,
normally
that
you
option
can't do that.
is on. I think they give you some option to do that. But the game, the skill tree progression is one that doesn't feel like you overinvest your points early on and you feel like, I'm stuck into this path of a character. So just do some basic thought of if you just want to make a COD character with just a gun, you could do that and you would still have a blast, and the game would be totally playable. So this is one of those, don't overthink it. And I feel like as you play the game, you'll start to figure out. Yes, I'm standing by what I said. As you play the game, I think you'll still get naturally introduced to figure out, this is what's fun to me. Okay, cool. This is what I'm going to lean into. If you realize the stealth portions of the game feel fun, then do stealth. If you feel like you just like picking fights and starting shit, also totally, like, they're both valid ways to play. Yeah. So just play the beginning and you'll get a feel yourself of what scratches that itch for you.
I like both of those ways of fighting.
You could do
but
both.
Spider-Man 2 is coming, and I think I need to save my time and energy and focus and money for that. I don't know. Brian, what do you think? You into the cyberpunk?
Approve that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was very ready for it until Savon's initial review from a few years ago turned me off, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to get this game. However, now it sounds like
you should get it.
It lives up to its potential.
Yeah.
The only problem is kind of what you said, Wes. Like, the video game queue is very high right now. We're very full, and who's got the time?
Yeah. You said you haven't even finished Tears of the Kingdom yet.
I have not. I have not finished
Elden Ring.
Horizon Forbidden West. I haven't finished God of War. Like, there's so much. Spider-Man 2's coming out. Like, who knows? Who knows when I'll play these things? But I do really want to.
You got real life happening. Traveling.
There is that thing. There is that thing called real life.
All right, Brian, finish this up. What we're loving this week?
But the thing that I do indulge in, which is very easy to spend time, is watching effing TV like all the time.
See, I'm the opposite.
Like, no matter how tired you are and you just need to decompress, TV is such a
Wait,
good friend.
Is your what we're loving TV?
No, I mean, it's what's on TV, but yeah, I love TV. TV's amazing
like,
now, by the way.
Watching TV, that's my what we're loving. I'm there for it.
Yeah, like that's. Can anyone argue with that? I don't think they can. But there are a few things I want to throw out.
Okay.
One, I finally finished watching The Bear, and what a heart attack of a show that is. But very, very happy and pleased that something like that exists and that it's popular. And I hope more shows like it come around and take risks. I also want to throw out the finale, the series finale of Reservation Dogs, also came out recently.
Was that season 3?
And that was season 3, and we were talking about in a previous episode, Blue Beetle and Latino families, and how to me that felt a little short-sighted and cut thin. Reservation Dogs should be like the prime example for how communities of color should take over media and portray themselves in like the most honest, like funny, entertaining, real ways. Like, and then this show is probably one of the best shows on TV in recent memory, and like they just do like such a phenomenal job. And it's like multi-generational too, and like huge cast of characters. It's about a community, so I can't recommend that highly enough. But the thing that I want to talk about on what we're loving.
Wait, you're sneaking in a second one.
I got so much love. I got a lot of love, guys.
All right.
And not a lot of conduits to put it in.
Whoa.
But this is one of them. So yeah, that intentionally had a lot of innuendo. I'm trying to gross you guys out.
I'm not grossed out. I'm just disappointed.
The thing that I want to talk about. Wait, what was that?
I'm not grossed out. I'm just disappointed. But it's cool. Every group needs one, right, Wes? We always got one in every one of our groups. It's either him, sometimes it's Kendall, it's somebody.
I want to know where the floor is.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm here for. I'm helping you guys outplant your feet. All right. So the one bit of TV that like I was like actually incredibly like into.
Oh, I'm glad this is TV. I thought you meant in real life.
Binged.
This is what you were loving.
Is Jury Duty. Not real life Jury Duty.
You meant TV show Jury Duty.
TV show Jury Duty. Though real life Jury Duty is kind of like a treat if you maybe get high beforehand and just enjoy your time watching every corner of humanity
the failure of the American justice system
invert itself in like into the justice system. Anyway, but Jury Duty, the TV show, is like this random show that came out, I want to say back in April, very little fanfare, but has exploded to some degree in the months after it came out. It came out on Freevee, which I think is owned by Amazon, and I think it's like an ad-supported streaming platform, whatever. But anyway, it's on Amazon Prime now, and so you can binge watch the whole thing, which I highly recommend.
Yeah,
because it is so hilarious and bonkers. And so the premise of Jury Duty is that it's a documentary series of people in real life jury duty in Los Angeles. That's the premise. However, it twists immediately because you realize that only one part of it is real, and that is one single juror named Ronald in this Jury Duty. Everything else around it is completely fake. Everything else around it is scripted. It's all actors. Like the courthouse might be real, but the people in the courthouse are all actors, except for this one guy, Ronald, who is a juror on this jury. And so he thinks he's in this documentary.
Yeah, is he playing a guy, or he like actually like in real life has no idea?
He thinks he has signed up to be in a docu-series about jury duty.
Oh no!
And so
they just duped him
participating.
It's like Punk'd or whatever, the Ashton Kutcher show.
It's like a 10-episode Punk'd.
Oh, what's that show with
maybe it's 8 episodes.
What's that show? Not Average Joe or something, where they had the dude on the show who just it was another reality show. Everyone knows it's a show except him.
Truman Show?
No, not that.
I feel like that exists, but yeah. So the reason why this show kind of blew up is because I think one of the head writers tweeted out, it's like Truman Show in real life. and they had a little clip, and immediately you get it. If you think about Truman Show,
Yeah.
that is what this is.
Oh my God.
In a jury duty setting. And so this guy thinks that he is participating in a docuseries about jury duty.
I hope this guy got well paid.
Well, I mean, you gotta. I'm not gonna spoil
right.
it, but you gotta watch what happens.
Oh God.
And so he thinks there's like other people that sign up for this docuseries. They don't know. He doesn't know if he's gonna get selected for the jury. In the jury waiting room, strolls in celebrity actor James Marsden, our good friend Cyclops, our good friend from Westworld. He's in like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies.
That guy's been around. He's been around for a minute.
So he's playing himself as a celebrity arriving for jury duty. So that's one storyline, is like James Marsden,
has to do jury
the
duty.
douchebag actor, is trying to get himself out of jury duty. There are other characters. There's like a nerdy character who's got like a girlfriend who's gone away, but because he's caught on the jury duty and they get sequestered, he's worried about his girlfriend going on a vacation without him. Meanwhile, there's like this like kind of, I want to say Jersey Shore-esque type lady who's into him, and they all ask Ronald, right, the guy who's being punked, basically, for like help about these scenarios. So like the guy's like, "Will you talk to my girlfriend on the phone and like see what's up?" And the girlfriend's like, "I'm breaking up with this fool."
Oh, no.
And then, or like the other girl that's interested would be like, "Hey, I'm interested in that dude. Would you like send him over to my room? We're being sequestered," because they're in a sequestration situation. So there's some of that happens. There's like this Korean American guy who's got a gambling problem that starts introducing Ronald to like some Korean board game, and suddenly owes Ronald a lot of money, and like that becomes a thing in another episode. There's a moment where like some guy, at Ronald's suggestion, actually tried to say something racist to get himself out of jury duty. And the judge calls him out on it and is like, "Who told you to say that?" "Oh, Ron." And he looks over at Ronald, the real guy.
The real guy told this man to say something racist to get out of jury duty, and
like
he did
sweating
it?
He is sweating balls because he
Ronald.
thinks he's going to get in trouble. And then there's like the whole case too that the jury duty revolves around. And so like they have a fake plaintiff, fake defendant, like this whole civil suit, and it kind of like, it's pretty interesting because it gets into how people are perceived and what people pick up on. But because it's done in the style of kind of like The Office or Parks and Rec, like the way that the characters are written out, and then also how they're interviewed throughout the show, you can just like imagine kind of like the absurd humor that happens as a result. And Ronald is kind of like at the center of all of this, and he's just, he's going through the motions. He's wondering, he's laughing along with things, but he's also just being a human being trying to navigate these kind of things in the way that Truman Show is. So I highly recommend Jury Duty. It's like a really fun binge watch. And there's really not anything else out there that's like it. And the whole time you're just like, how did they make this happen? Like, how does this work? And so that is like a really big part of the delight of watching this show.
Hell yeah. I'll watch this.
Check it
Straight
out.
up, I'll watch it. So, okay, so Brian, so I was reading, like, I think I just passively through life heard some stuff about this show. And apparently, and maybe you can verify this. Have you watched Parks and Rec?
Yeah, I'm not like a huge Parks and Rec fan, but actually,
So
one
apparently,
of the actors,
the guy who plays Sewage Joe, because I remember Sewage Joe from Parks and Rec, because he's that skeezy guy from the sewage department. Apparently, didn't they say they had to consider removing him because he was too recognizable? Isn't he like really tall?
Yeah, he's really tall. He's got like kind of like
a mullet,
long face, mullet-ish.
He looks distinctive.
Which he kind of retains that same look on the jury. But the thing is, they found out during the taping of the show that Ronald is actually a Parks and Rec fan.
So he would recognize him the way I might have recognized him.
Yeah, so they ended up downplaying his character throughout the duration of the show, which is like, a funny thing that they had to do, maybe kind of unfortunate for that guy. But then, so they play up other characters instead. But they're all kind of ridiculous in that Parks and Rec kind of way.
Wait, so when they interview them on the side, do they come out of character as like the actor?
No.
They stay in character.
Stay in character the entire time.
Where can I watch this at?
Amazon. Hey,
So it's on Amazon.
Do you need a login, Sav? I got one for you. I'll send you the one time.
I'm pretty sure my mama got the Amazon account. So I think I got my mama Amazon account. So I'm gonna just log in and watch it there. But that is exciting. Like, I heard about this show, but because I heard about the James Marsden stuff. But hearing you sell me on it even more, it's like, yeah, this feels like one of those. It's fun, it's low stakes, it's silly, it's unique. Also, the show I found, it was the Joe Schmo show or whatever. The original one, the Joe Schmo show was the reality show.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. The premise makes me worried about
ethically.
Yeah, the ethical concerns here are a lot, especially if Ronald told the guy to be racist, but like, what if Ronald was racist himself, or like, what if Ronald like did some like outlandish shit and like was put in this fake scenario where like it kind of engendered him to do something that was pretty questionable, whereas like he maybe wouldn't have done it in the without the pressure of the show. All that kind of stuff is
that's showbiz, baby.
That's part of what makes the show so entertaining. Oh, man, because the whole time you're just wondering, cringy, how did they pull this off? And like, you notice the way that they are kind of subtly nodding him into scenarios or pushing him to like maybe bring up certain things. The thing about where he says like, you could get off by saying something racist, he's actually quoting. He was kind of joking. He was saying like, "Oh, in Family Guy, they do this thing," and he's just joking about it. But the show writers are savvy and funny enough that they made it happen later on in the episode. Mm-hmm. And so, they are constantly reacting to Ronald as well, right? They're like shaping what goes on around him and hoping he does certain things, but of course he's going to go off script. And so they got to respond in kind. And so there are lots of little funny things that happen because of it. And I think it just makes the show more amusing because you're watching it for that too.
Poor Ronald. I would be so mad if somebody put me on a show like that. I'd be so I would just change my whole identity and move to a different place and just.
I would love if Wes
that would be
were the target of a whole
the best
show.
thing, Wes.
Oh my God.
Keep it a buck. You would be the best person to put into a show like this.
I'd be so boring though.
You would be.
No, you would
my
not.
Normal boring shit.
You'd be the best straight man.
Yeah, no, I don't think you realize how. Yes, you would be the best straight man for this.
I'd be so angry if someone did that to me.
Because you'd be so like. It would honestly.
We would stop being friends immediately.
I think it would be like the Joe Schmo, like that show, the Joe Schmo show that did the same thing, like the fake reality show where everyone was in on it except him. It's funny because the writers talked about how for that show, they realized that they wanted to put him in funky situations, and they realized he was such an earnest, like cool, chill guy that they ended up rewriting scenarios to make him look good in your reality show and win challenges rather than because they realized, the audience actually really likes him and he's super chill and earnest. We don't want to just be screwing him over. And so they actually set him up for they put him, it was still funny situations, but like not at his expense to make him look bad.
Was it William Hung?
Yeah, it wasn't them screwing him over. It wasn't William Hung.
They're rooting for Ronald the whole time.
Yes, because some of these shows I've noticed, because I think, at least the shows I have seen that do the whole fake spoof thing, they don't do the Truman Show thing where it goes into the line of cruelty. It's more so just a really long episode of Punk'd.
But Punk'd also works partly because those are celebrities, right? Like, you're punching up, not down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think.
don't worry. And this Ronald comes off looking good. Like they spent a lot of time casting.
All right.
Like that's a certainty, and they sort of know the type of person
Fair enough.
that they're doing this.
All right.
Punk did go a little far. They made Justin Timberlake cry. I just remember they had Justin Timberlake crying in front of his mansion because he thought all his shit was getting repossessed because of the IRS.
no.
And
Wait, really?
Yeah, when he
I gotta
got
watch
punked, they made him think he lost all his money, was getting his stuff repossessed. And they're like carrying out a guitar, and he's like, "That's careful with that because he thinks it's a sentimental guitar." And they drop it and break it. He's crying. He like calls his mom. That was actually kind of mean, but still funny because he's rich. He'll be okay.
He's rich. He'll be okay.
right.
I thought they messed up with Wilmer Valderrama, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe he figured it out. All right.
Did they mess up the other guy from that '70s show?
Oh, man.
Oh wait, he's going to jail.
Yeah,
James-
that's bad.
Master-
Masterson.
Yeah.
Woo! And then Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis took a lot of flack for that too, because they wrote
came out
a
just
letter of
defending homie.
support.
I'm like, ooh, that's. Hey man, sometimes it's better to say nothing.
Can't stick your neck out for nobody.
Yeah, even if you do something awful, Wes, and you like, even if you do the most awful thing, I might not be your friend anymore. And any support I might have, even if it's not justified, I'm not gonna just go out to public. Like that's just gonna be for PlayStation chat. Free West. Hey, if I'm gonna say Free West, it's gonna be in the PlayStation chat, not on the internet.
That's not really a Free West request then. All right. Brian, would you recommend this to like anybody, or is there a certain audience that you're like, oh yeah, like if you like this show, you're definitely gonna like Jury Duty?
I mean, I think it's just like a fascinating experience that anybody could appreciate.
Okay, so you don't have to be like
at least
a
an
how-to
episode
with John
at least
Wilson
an episode
fan to like
but
watch it.
I do think if you like Parks and Rec,
I like
Yes.
Parks.
which is also kind of like about government bureaucracy, which this show is also about. I think you'd like it. And if you like the Truman Show too, right? Like if the Truman Show was like a fascinating watch, Jury Duty, no doubt.
Yeah, but you knew that was not real. All right, friends, that'll do it. What we're loving, e-bikes. It's the way of the future, y'all. Go get one.
So it's Cyberpunk.
How about E-West?
I am intrigued about.
US?
I'm intrigued
Can you eat
about
batteries,
Cyberpunk,
Wes?
but I just feel like I would start playing and then just get overwhelmed and then stop, and that would not be good for anybody.
Well, if you decide to just give up before you even start, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed trying to choose cereal at the grocery store, guys. Like, Cyberpunk is gonna do my head in.
Then get your kids, subsidize your decision making through your kids and wife or something.
Oh, I can do that.
Roll some dice, man. Jeez.
Yeah, like you're making this harder. Get a D5,
Flip a coin.
something.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. That'll do it. We'll be back talking about Ahsoka, I hope.
Laters.
Bye. Brian just rolled his eyes. Maybe we won't be talking.
That's what I do.
Maybe we won't be
That's what I
talking
do.
about Ahsoka. I don't know. All right, friends. See you later. Hit us up on socials at confidently_pod on Instagram. Let Savon know.
Let's
We put out a call
go.
for mailbag questions. So go ahead and send those in on the next. We'll make a post, Sav. Well, maybe Sav will make a post for us. Where
I'll
you
make
can put in
another one for
comments.
sure.
All right, friends.
And we'll shout you out on the show.
You're
That's what's
darn
going to
right.
happen.
Hell yeah.
So send us some mail.
Always shout out to our friend Tim, always promoting the show to his friends and followers.
Big
We appreciate you, Big Tim. All right, y'all. See you later. Bye.